Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky.
Hey everyone, Owlvine here. It's altar tour time. Okay, we'll start down here. Over at the back here I have a few more apothecary items. I've got some spiderweb and moths and spiders and some ant piles back there. Ant piles are, you know, the dirt that is misplaced when ants create their little home. Over here I've got my cauldron, which I showed you the other day in another video. Actually, I haven't put that video up yet. Anyway, that's coming. And down here I've got a stone. You might be able to see in this light, actually. It goes from brown to like a blue. It's really beautiful. And then over here I've got Zero from my Nightmare Before Christmas little setup thing that I showed you in my last Witchy tour video. So that's Zero there. And then here I've got this beautiful candle holder. That was a charity store item. There are many of those on my altar. And it's really cool. Let me take this off. So it's got a bit of wax going on there. And this candle is one that my sister made at a school camp many years ago. It burnt the first time. I finally decided to burn it after like, I don't even know, 10, 12 years or something. And the second time I tried to use it, it spluttered and now it just doesn't light. So much for that. I guess it got used up. And back here I've got, in that beautiful bag, I've got some mirrors. One of those is on my altar, so I'll show you that later. And I brought those for myself in Queensland when I went on my little holiday. And in here there's some wine in this skull for sort of offerings and things like that. And over here, charity store item, is my wooden mortar and pestle, and it's so beautiful. It's like blue and brown and lovely. This was the only one I had for magical use until fairly recently. I've got another one in the kitchen, but I only use that obviously for ingestible items. So I had some really hard work when I was crushing up some red brick in that, I can tell you right now. So I've got a better one to use now, even though it's tiny. It does the job, but I'll show you that later. And further up here I have my crocodile skull, and down here a hag stone, and my fairies oracle with tourmaline on top, one of my very favourite stones. And down in the front there, an echidna quill, which I like to inscribe candles and things like of that nature with. And some flying ointment there with some rosemary sticks in front, and some bones. There's a chicken bone in there and some fish bones. And some oak leaves from a tree just down the road. And sorry, this is all very I tried to do this having the camera on a stand and it all just didn't work out. So anyway, I filmed this video once before and I'm going for it again. In this chest I've got candles and some resins and things like that in there. And here the Baba, beautiful Baba Yaga, and a little bell down here. Excuse my nails, I'm a hot mess today. Take me as I am. And then up the top here, I've got this really cool pipe. I've never actually used it as a pipe, but I've had it in like a little Alice in Wonderland setup and things like that before. But that sits there. And Himalayan salt candle holder, there's 3 in there. And some beautiful, what's it called, spirit quartz. I was never much into spirit quartz, and I actually purchased this for a friend, and when I went and picked it up I was like, oh my god, I have to keep it for myself. She ended up getting a different present. And then my lodestone there. And back behind here I've got this candle holder which I use as an incense burner. It came, again, it was a charity store find, and it had wax in it already, so I used it as a incense holder and I just really like it for that. And down there is a milky quartz that I found in Queensland and brought back with me. And down the front here I've got some sapphire and matrix, and the matrix is really pretty too. Matrix is what crystals grow in, and it's kind of silvery and pretty. Candle holder, my goddess stone there, and back here is my Baba Yaga imagery, which I've stuck into a mirror. And then going across here, I have my crone stone and a stang, which this has all pretty much stayed the same from the last time, I think, that I did an altar to. Actually, no, that's not true. Never mind. It's changed quite a bit. I was going to do an altar tour a while ago, and then, yeah, I didn't. My spirit candle, which I've had for a very long time, that candle holder, and I just love it. And then over here, super cool, candelabra. Another charity store find, and I love it. It's made of wood and chain, and it reminds me of like the Viking era. So it kind of goes with my Viking bottle that I showed you the other day. And on it I've got a rose from a bouquet that my sister bought for me for my last birthday, and my grandmother's brooch, which I won't pick up and show you because last time I did so there was an unplanned blood offering, so we'll leave that there. And a milky quartz at the front here that was also from Queensland, and that really reminds me of change, and that's the energies I get from that. And then over here I have my quote-unquote African bloodstone skull, which actually isn't crystal, but that's cool. I still use it and love it. And then up here I've got the platter that I showed the other day in my Sarwain/Beltane video. And I realised afterwards you didn't really get a close look. I love this because it reminds me of the two sides of the year that are always happening simultaneously. You know, as there is waxing happening on one side of the earth, there is a waning side happening to the other side of the earth. And I think this is it's been a really important concept for me to kind of grasp and keep in mind. You know, that no matter what is going on, the other side is coming, you know, and they're very much entwined together. I think this image shows beautifully, kind of, you know, it's a beautiful sort of seamless image of the two joining, you know, winter and spring and autumn and spring and winter and summer together. You know, both are important for various reasons, and neither one is good or bad. And then over here I've got this beautiful vase, charity store, and I love this. The light plays beautifully through this, and when I filmed it before, the light was coming through and it looked gorgeous, but anyway, we'll do with what we've got. And then crow's feathers in there, and I've got crow's feathers at the top of my shelf as well, which I didn't actually mention the other day, but you would have seen those sitting in my goat's horn. And then over here I've got Morrigan beads, which were made by Anya Auger of Heart Story, and I know that she'll be coming back at some point in the near future, and I don't know, probably selling beautiful things like that again. And then up here I've got my year of the card. That's not it, is it? My card of the year, that's better. For this year, which is Justice, or in the Osho Zen it's Breakthrough. So I'm claiming that. And then I've got Yggdrasil, my beautiful spirit tree here. And then down here I've got my shrunken head. This is a real shrunken head. I've had this question. It is not a human head though. It is made from pig or monkey skin by the tribe, the Amazonian tribe that makes those. So it's whatever food, whatever animal they're eating at the time, they make these out of. And then alpaca hair as well. And then down here at the back, this is going to be interesting. Let's see. Oh, you can see her well. This is my witchy platter. So when I saw this, the woman immediately reminded me of a witch. You know, she's spinning and she's weaving there. And it just reminds me of, you know, really engaging in my craft. And so that's something I wanted to put on here because generally speaking, the waning side of the year is the year that I do the most kind of, I guess, classic kind of spellcraft and things like that. So I've got that sitting there. And then down there I have rose quartz, and this reminds me of working through love and not fear, first of all, so that everything I do is an act out of love and not something that I feel I should or have to do. And this is something I'm really kind of exploring and is coming to the forefront of my attention at the moment. And also, I've been working with quote-unquote darker energies recently, things that are more mysterious and perhaps seen as, let's say, not light and fluffy. So even though I'm doing things like that, it's always done through love. You know, I'm not afraid to explore the darkness anymore. I have been previously. And so going into that, even though I'm exploring things that may not be accepted by the majority, let's say, you know, they're always done through love, and therefore they're good. And down here I've got this candle holder. This was charity store find, as is the platter. And this I brought originally for Baba Yaga. It just reminded me of her, even though it's quite Victorian. But I have that burning there, and I've got to clean it out a bit. I've got a candle light sitting on top, but there's other wax and things from when I was using it before that. And that's all sitting on one of my tree stumps. And then over here I've got this rose. Oh, let me move that out of the way. This oh dear, things are falling. This rose bush clipping. I love this. It reminds me so perfectly of the season, and it even has some leaves on there still that are slowly coming off. It really reminds me of the season as I've collected it this season, and it's kind of, it brings like a woodsy feel to the altar as well. I'm working with Shades of a Woods Witch at the moment, which is a spell kit that Joey Morris created for me. And yeah, tree energy is something that I connect to a lot, and I've been connecting with a lot lately. And it's something that I wanted to have on my altar as well, so that's there. And down here I have this platter. This was another charity store find, and then I spray painted it purple because purple's pretty. And on that I have this bird's nest here. I found that the other day, after the men who had cut down the tree had kind of cleared away some of the debris, I went and sort of had a rummage around in there and got some sticks and things like that from that. And I found this bird's nest in there, and it's actually, you know, quite broken and stuff. It was quite wet and soft when I found it, so I don't know when it was abandoned, at what point, but it's hardened up quite a bit now since being inside, and I've got that there sort of for the rebirth aspects, but also, you know, the waning, because it is something that's been abandoned now and you know, has been broken too. And at the back here I've got some storm water. This is from some rain we had the other night, and we had the most amazing thunder and lightning. It was actually quite far away, but it was loud, and it was just crazy. I wish it had come over the top of us. It was like intense. We'll be getting our storms soon. I know they're coming. And then down here I've got my new mortar and pestle. It's quite small, as you can see from, I mean, I've got a massive hand, but it's still quite small. And this is a proper metal one, so I'll be able to crush up some, you know, things that I need to in there. Even though it's quite small, it's all I can afford currently. And it's got the pentagram on the front, but it's just like so cute, and it's a cauldron as well, so, you know, how can you go past that? And in the middle here, I have my Shades of a Woods Witch oil, made by the gorgeous Joey Morris. And this will be getting some really nice use in the near future. Let me just shake this up a bit, hang on. Not professional, there we go. You can see some of the colours, look at that. Purple, red, black. Ah, love it. And then over here I've got a mirror. So this is the same kinds of mirrors that I've got in that little bag there. Mirror. That's there, and then, oh, Jack fell over. Jackie boy! I love Jack. He's not a character I grew up with. My mum was always very against anything with any kind of correspondences of darkness. So he's quite a recent addition to my life, probably like, the last 10 years or so. And I just adore Jack and his Halloween nature. So he's there. And then I have a crow's foot here, which I actually collected myself. And that's sort of holding some amethyst there. Then over here, I'm hoping you won't be able to see me in the mirror, because yeah, you kind of can. Hello. Let's shift back a little bit here. Ignore the man behind the curtain. So actually, let's go down first. At the front here, I've got some labradorite. I love this. I brought this for myself when I was in Queensland, and the colours, oh, there we go. Look at that, with the gross nail. You guys love me. It's beautiful. So that's sitting here, and that's really to do with change work right now for me. And then I have my Shades of a Woods Witch candle there. And it's beautiful. And then over here I have the Death card. So I decided to put some tarot cards on here to sort of draw in energies and to represent energies that are very much around me right now. So the Death card is there, and with death there is always birth and renewal, which is something that I've been reminded of, that no matter what goes on and how much I let go of, there is always going to be replacements for that, or renewal in that. As I let go of the old, new comes in. So that's there, and that's got its own little candle in the front for some work that I'll be doing. And then over this side, I've got the Tower. So the Tower, and this is coming from someone who is very new to tarot, let's remember that, is about change, and about big change, I would say. And when this came up for me, it really spoke to me about allowing death to come to my dreams. I've held dreams that I can now see aren't really my dreams. And I'm grateful for them because they've helped to get me where I am today. But it's time for me to now release those, let go, and really go back to heart space and find my own dreams. I've always kind of filled myself with who I think I should be, or who other people want me to be. And, coming to paganism and to witchcraft, I've let a lot of that go. To even step onto this path was a huge undertaking for me, and I really had to let a lot of shit go. So, I found a lot of empowerment here, and it's been truly, my progress, I guess, as a person, my growth has been tremendous. And it's now time to take the next step. So there's this candle in front of it to signify the dreams that I've held. I'll be burning those away, and I'm starting from zero, basically. And at the back here I have part of a cutting from the tree that was cut down the other day, which really has that symbology of death for me, as I explained in that video where the tree was cut down. So I decided to put that on my altar at this time. And this here is my scrying mirror with me in it. You can see my tracksuit pants. I'm dressed for videos today. So I've been wanting to make one of these for myself for a long time, and I really wanted a mirror that was kind of a little bit more ornate, and I found this the other day and was like, oh my god, it's perfect. And the beautiful thing, it was already black for me, which is cool. So if you want to make one of these, it's very simple. All you need is a frame with glass in it. You just spray paint the frame, or in my case it was already black, the color I wanted, so you don't have to do that, and then you just spray the back of the glass. And I did 3 coats of paint, and now it's my scrying mirror, and I love it. And on top of it here I've got a cutting of a rose stem from my garden, and this is to kind of protect me on the astral realm, to kind of signify that protection. And then up above that I have my Shades of a Woods Witch orb, spell orb. Now this to me is a symbol of kind of everything I'm going through right now. You know, it reminds me of going into those deep, dark places, into those ancient forests of myself, into finding my authentic self. It also reminds me that witchcraft is never safe. You know, it's not never safe, it's not always safe. You know, it's a twisting, winding path that will lead you who knows where. It will lead you somewhere that you haven't been before, and that is certainly happening to me. There are so many gorgeous energies tied up in this particular ball, and just I'm really taking advantage of using those, and it's just beautiful, and a beautiful part of my altar as well. And I won't go into any more of that right now, I don't think. And then over on the side here, I have my healing bowl. Let's give that a little strike because I just love to. And that's generally a part of my altar. It's something I like to use quite a lot, and that is on this tree stump here. And down the front here, so this is interesting, this is the last little piece. This is my dark angel. This to me represents my protection. It represents astral journeying and spiritual awakening and spiritual work as well. And it it hit me like a ton of bricks a little while ago. I was kind of, you know, working on setting up my altar, and it was the last time I set it up. And I looked at this, and I've had this particular setup on my altar for a while, you know, the black skull with the crow's wing. And it just hit me, and I was like, oh my God, Satan's on my altar. Now, Satan is an archetype and an energy that I have actually done some work with in the past. And it's kind of a big sort of touchy and messy topic. Perhaps I'll talk about that in the future, and kind of my relationship with all of that. But yes, for me, he's been a very protective energy, and an energy of kind of, I guess, rising up against the man, you know, taking my own way and going a different way to the way that I probably should, or the way that I've been told to, and really finding my own self. So that's what he's kind of all about. And then I've got tourmaline in his eyes here, and this is to sort of, oops, his eyes looks like they went lopsided. Oh well. This is to really signify grounding anything that I learn in my kind of spiritual journeying and traveling, particularly with my time at this altar. And down here on the floor I have my my Grimoire, my Book of Shadows. And look what I did today. So I got my own wax seal, which, let's see if you can, I seriously need some practice with it though, because like I didn't do a very good job, but there you go. It's an owl. So now it's Owlvine's Grimoire. How cool is that? So cool. And green. Owlvine Greens. It's a Grimoire with a crow's feather sitting on top. Many blessings, everyone.